As America is heading towards the worst April for the Dow since 1932 due to Trump's tariffs and trade war, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent demanded reforms and accountability from IMF and World Bank. He also said that he would push the IMF and World Bank so they can reform, a very forceful statement. He gave a speech at IIF Global Outlook Forum on 23rd April 2025, which was yesterday. I think his speech reveals self-serving motives while outwardly and falsely advocating for collaborations. Hence, I think it warrants critical analysis. Let's have a listen to the speech and then we can dissect it, examine the data, cut out the white noise and make some sense out of it.
The purpose of the IMF and the World Bank was to better align national interest with international order, thereby bringing stability to an unstable world. In short, their purpose was to restore and preserve balance. This remains the purpose of the Bretton Woods institutions. Yet everywhere we look across the international system today, we see imbalance. The good news, it doesn't have to be this way. My goal this morning is to outline a blueprint to restore equilibrium to the global financial system and the institutions designed to uphold it. I have spent the bulk of my career from the outside looking in on financial policy circles. Now I am on the inside looking out. I am eager to work with each of you to restore order to the international system. To achieve this, however, we must first reconstruct the IMF and World Bank reconnect the IMF and the World Bank with their founding missions.
See the slip of tongue, reconstruct the IMF and World Bank. Reconstruct. Both IMF and World Bank have been benefiting USA and Europe ever since their creation because of their founding structures and voting systems. The USA holds the largest voting share in both institutions, giving it significant sway over major decisions. Even then, America is not happy with their subservience, and USA really wants to ensure that these institutions work for USA. This, in my view, aligns quite well with latest American military ambitions of invading Greenland and Panama Canal. Okay, let's continue and finish the speech.
The IMF and World Bank have enduring value, but mission creep has knocked these institutions off course. We must enact key reforms to ensure the Bretton Woods institutions are serving their stakeholders, not the other way around. Bringing balance back to global finance will require clear-eyed leadership from the IMF and World Bank. This morning, I will explain how they can provide that leadership to build safer, stronger, and more prosperous economies all around the world. I wish to invite my international counterparts to join us in working toward these goals. On this point, I wish to be clear. America first does not mean America alone. To the contrary, it is a call for deeper collaboration and mutual respect among trade partners. Far from stepping back, America First seeks to expand U.S. leadership in international institutions like the IMF and the World Bank. By embracing a stronger leadership role, America First seeks to restore fairness to the international economic system. The Trump administration and the U.S. Treasury are committed to maintaining and expanding U.S. economic leadership in the world. This is especially true at the international financial institutions. The IMF and World Bank serve critical roles in the international system, and the Trump administration is eager to work with them so long as they can stay true to their missions. And under the status quo, they are falling short. The Bretton Woods institutions must step back from their sprawling and unfocused agendas, which have stifled their ability to deliver on their core mandates. Going forward, the Trump administration will leverage U.S. leadership and influence at these institutions and push them to accomplish their very important mandates. The United States will also demand that the management and staffs of these institutions be accountable for demonstrating real progress. I invite all of you to join us in working to refocus these institutions on their core missions. It is in our collective interest to do so.
So let's talk about the hypocrisy in America First versus global collaboration. Bessent has said that America First does not mean America alone. I believe it is a rhetorical attempt to reconcile the inherently isolationist tone of America First. Basically, it means serve your master as you're supposed to do. What if China says China First does not mean China alone? Or Russia says Russia First doesn't mean Russia alone? Then would America tag along with China or Russia? It wouldn't. Sometimes I really wonder at the pomposity of these people and their blatant biases and disregard for the rest of the world. It is fairly obvious that the emphasis is on expanding US leadership and influence over these institutions like IMF and World Bank. And it suggests a prioritization of American interests over genuine multilateralism. This undermines the claim of fostering mutual respect among trade partners. I mean, just think about it. America has spent over $9 trillion on war since World War II. If it had spent some of this money on its own people and had made wiser, smarter, and inclusive economic and trade policies, then it would be in a different position now. Instead, America has always taken an adversarial position. America has $36 trillion debt, which is 128% of its GDP. The current and future generations would be working just to pay off that massive debt. And who has confidence in American leadership? The homelessness and the poverty rates are high in America. Do other countries really want American leadership and influence? I don't think so. So if you read between the lines, then the sole objective is to siphon everything towards America by using these institutions. Bessent is accusing IMF and World Bank of mission creep, implying that these institutions have strayed from their original purpose. While this critique may hold some validity, it conveniently ignores the role of powerful nations, including the US. US has shaped the agendas of these institutions to serve its own strategic and economic interests. I mean, who can forget the US-backed coup in Chile in 1973, in which the democratically elected president Salvador Allende was ousted and replaced by Augusto Pinochet. Now, Pinochet's regime received significant financial support from the IMF and World Bank, despite human rights violations, all at the behest of America. And like I said earlier, USA holds the largest voting share in both of these institutions. I believe US voting share is about 16.5% in IMF and 15.5% in World Bank. Now, this dominance gives it disproportionate influence over global financial policy and lending policies. So the call to refocus these institutions could be interpreted as an attempt to align them even more closely with US priorities rather than addressing global imbalances. Now, when it comes to accountability is good, but the demand for accountability from the IMF and World Bank management raises questions about whether the US is willing to hold itself to the same standard. Bessent and America fail to acknowledge that their policies, such as trade wars or protectionist measures, contribute to the very imbalances it criticizes. Bessent also claims to see fairness in the international economic system, while simultaneously asserting the American intention to leverage its leadership and influence. Now, to me, this duality suggests a selfish desire to maintain control rather than fostering a truly balanced and inclusive global financial system. I mean, if you look at BRICS, it is a heterogeneous economic organization and is doing well and has China, India, Russia, Brazil, and other countries in it. This is what bringing countries together look like, not what America is doing right now, repeatedly trying to reassert its supremacy. I think his speech reflects a broader pattern of using lofty rhetoric to mask self-serving policies. I think that's enough for now. I'll see you next time. Cheers.